I'm going to tell you all the secrets to getting a ton of guava from your fruit tree. Hello, welcome back to Fighting 50 and Susie's Garden. Today I'm going to tell you all about the guava tree, how to prune it, how to grow it, and why it's such an amazing superfood, great tasting fruit that you should add to your garden if you don't already have one. If you do have one or are planning to get one, this is all the information you're going to need to grow a healthy, beautiful, abundant tree. Guava is a tropical fruit, and the tree grows in tropical areas. You could grow it in California, Florida, and Hawaii. You could also grow it in places like Arizona, Nevada. You can grow it in colder climates, but it would definitely need to be in a container, and you'd have to wrap it in the cold winter months. The guava tree needs to be pruned in the winter time. Right now it's January. We're at the end of January in Southern California, and it's the perfect time to prune the tree. So let's go out there and do that. Now, this guava tree is about 5 years old. You're going to want to make sure that nothing is growing on the trunk. So anything that's on the trunk, you're going to remove. Make sure you prune away all the thin little branches that have the yellow leaves. And also these lower hanging branches. For the trunk to grow taller and for you to be able to have fruit that isn't hanging on the ground. I do not prune any of the top unless it's just dry, like these dry branches, but otherwise I don't prune any of the leafy green on the top of the tree. So that is how much I took off, quite a bit. It's going to help the tree to get strong, grow tall, and give lots of fruit in its season. So when you're pruning the guava tree, you want to make sure that you choose one trunk. So here you could see that these were growing down below, and we cut them off so that the tree could continue to grow. Once the tree continued to grow, we chose 3 large branches that we're going to let remain. This one needs to be removed, and this one needs to be removed. But I'm not going to do that until next winter. If you want your guava tree to remain dwarf or very short, then you would clip off the top of the branch. So let me show you where that would be. If you wanted it to remain, let's say this height, this is about, I don't know, maybe a little bit under 5 feet. I want it to continue to grow to be about 6 to 7 feet tall. So if you did want it to stop at this height right here, then you would clip off this top part. You would just break this right here, and it would stop it from continuing to grow. You'd have to do it on all the top branches. So anywhere that the branch is like this, you would need to cut off the tips of everything, and then it'll remain short. short and stout. By pruning your guava tree this way, you could train it to be any size and shape you want. So you'd be able to basically pick how fat, how wide you wanted it, and how tall you wanted it. The guava tree is naturally bug and pest resistant, so you don't really have, I've never had any problems with that. You can spray it down if you want with an organic spray, but I've never had to do that. Coffee is great for your guava tree. So if you collect your old coffee grinds after you use them, leave them like in a little container, and then every few months you can throw it at the base of the tree. You could also like toil it into the ground around the tree. Because of the fact that coffee has nitrogen in it, it's like the tree just eats that up. They love it. So you're going to prune your tree in the winter, and you don't have to prune it every year. You could prune it every other year, depending on how you're training it and the way you want your tree to look and how full you want it. The tree will flower in spring, but the fruits are ready in the fall. So it's definitely a fall winter fruit, which is great because who doesn't want fruit in the fall, right? And like always, I love to tell you why the fruits that I have in my garden are so healthy and why you should pick them for your garden too. Obviously, you want fruit that you enjoy eating. So that's number one. If you enjoy eating it, then it's great to have. The guava tree gives an abundant amount of fruit, a lot of fruit, just like the persimmon tree. The persimmon tree is loaded with fruit, and I have a video you could watch on persimmon trees, and I will put it right here for you. And also how healthy they are. It's just amazing. But the guava, let's get back to the guava tree. So the guava tree, you could make all kinds of amazing, amazing things to eat with the guava tree. You could make guava jam, guava ice cream, guava sorbet. You could freeze it and put it in your smoothies. It's just so good. Obviously, you could just eat the fruit, which I usually do as well. But the interesting thing about the guava tree is that the actual leaves, you could make tea out of them. Yeah, that's crazy, right? I'm going to do a video all about that because it's a lot of information. So that's for the next video. The health benefits of guava is amazing. First off, it's a superfood and it lowers your risk of cancer, breast cancer. It has like an anti-tumor type of component in it that I'm not going to get all scientific, but it's I'll write it here because I could never pronounce anything correctly. So thanks to my dyslexia. But anyway, I will put it here and you could look it up. It is amazing. It helps you with so many things. It's anti-inflammatory, packed with vitamin C, packed with vitamin A. It's great for your eyesight. It keeps you really full, and it has a low sugar index. So if you are diabetic, you may be able to check with your doctor, but you may be able to incorporate it in your daily meals. It's also known to help reduce blood pressure naturally, which also you have to check with your doctor, but those kind of things are incredible. It's amazing how the food you eat could affect your health. It could affect your sugar, it could affect your blood pressure, it could affect if you have arthritis. These are anti-inflammatory fruits, so they help you maintain a healthy life. I think that what we put in our bodies is so important. And also, if you have a small little garden, you could also, if you're in an apartment, you could make these a little dwarf tree. You could actually have them in a container. But if you have a small garden, it takes up such little bit of room for the amount of fruit that it yields that it's just an amazing tree to include in your garden. It's also packed with potassium, so be careful if you're on a low potassium diet. Unfortunately, a lot of these fruits have high potassium. So if you are on a low potassium diet for kidney problems or other types of illnesses that you can't be having a lot of potassium, you may not want to include this. You probably won't be able to include this one. That's why it's always great to make sure, check with your nutritionist, your doctor, if you have any type of health conditions that restrict your diet. So that's all the information I have today for guava tree, how to prune it, the best way to grow it. Oh, also, it needs a lot of water. So do not let it get thirsty. You don't want to saturate the soil because it needs to drain, but you definitely want to water regularly, and you want to make sure that, you have to remember, it's a tropical fruit. So in the tropics, it rains a lot. So you need to monitor it. You can't plant it near anything that doesn't require a lot of water, because then it's going to interfere with the watering schedule of the tree. So make sure you plant it somewhere in the garden that you could water it frequently, and that it has a good amount of sun. It definitely needs a lot of sun. So those are the things that you need to know about the guava tree. I hope this video was informative. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, thumbs up. If you like my videos, subscribe. And I hope you have a blessed and wonderful week. Bye.